And good morning, you're watching SABC News as well. Today, if you just joined us, I'm Glen Lewington. It's this part of the program where we speak to people from around our country about different events and happenings in our country. Well, who's going to tell us what's apparently happening this year in the country is astrologist Barbra. Thank you for joining us once again, Barbra, and a Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Last year, December 2006, you were telling us about change, more governmental and political changes. Today you want to talk about astrological weather. Now,
astrological, of course, the planets affect us, you see.
So explain that in a nutshell, what astrological weather is.
Well, I'm calling it my astrological weather prediction. In fact, each one of us are influenced by the planetary influences in some way. And we have a full moon in Cancer this weekend. So I'd like to just explain a little bit so everybody who's influenced by it needs to understand that most people are going to feel rather emotional this weekend.
That story that people get affected like howling at the moon, and you would believe in that?
Well, not quite like that, but when the moon is in Cancer, the moon rules the sign of Cancer, so we would expect everyone to have far stronger feelings, far deeper emotions, and perhaps be a little bit more sentimental than usual. Right. The other planetary occurrence that's quite important in the astrological world is the sun is changing signs, moving from Capricorn into Aquarius on Friday. So Capricorn people may feel that they need to get things finished off rather urgently, and Aquarius people will feel like at last they've been taken off hold and things can start moving ahead for them.
People that are born late January, early February, where the star signs cross over, for example, what would their weather pattern as such be? Are they not stereotypical of their star signs?
Well, they're kind of like some of one and some of the other. And so it makes it rather difficult. And this is where astrologers are very busy when people are not quite sure where they fit in. But we can look up in the tables. The sun moves from signs perhaps with 1 or 2 days difference every year. So, you know, we
what are typical things that you think a Capricorn might be going through now, and an Aquarius with this change you're talking about this weekend?
A Capricorn person is moving from being very focused on what's important to them, and when the sun moves into Aquarius, Capricorn people start looking at where they get their money from, how they use it, how they can reward themselves, because a lot of Capricorn people will spend in January, February on something to reward themselves and show everyone how well they've been doing, you see. Aquarian people have been feeling that while the sun's been moving through Capricorn, nothing that they're really doing is working properly. So they kind of like get a little bit, poor little old me, feel a bit sorry for themselves. But when the sun changes into Aquarius, then the focus for Aquarians comes into their personal sphere. So they may find things working more effectively.
So your advice to Aquarians this weekend?
My advice to Aquarians is, after Friday, make hay while the sun shines. Don't miss any opportunities.
Barbra, you brought along some cards. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yes, I also use the tarot cards. They are very old. They're cards with pictures on. And for some reason, these cards tend to explain our situations in a way that just belies explanation but is exceptionally accurate. And
just to give us a background, the history on the cards.
The history of tarot cards, as far back as we can trace them, to around about 1400s, where they were designed as a card game for the idle rich. And from there it was a game called Tarocchi. Our normal playing cards have come from them. The tarot cards differ from playing cards. We have 4 suits of cards, but we also have the major arcana, which are 21 cards, 22 cards, that describe archetypal energies. So, for instance, if you were to draw the Fool card, the archetypal energy is of taking a chance and moving ahead into something new, as well as being rather silly. So the tarot cards are a very nice tool to get an extra insight into whatever's happening in your life.
Have you found them to be quite accurate?
I've been using the cards for the last 30 years. I'm always stunned by how phenomenally accurate they are and by the guidance that they give us, because I always tell people very often the cards will not give you the answer you're looking for, but they will certainly tell you what you need to know.
To read someone's reading then, do they choose the cards? Do you give out the cards? How does it work?
Well, we shuffle the cards, and then the cards are divided into packs, and the person then chooses which pack they would use. And we can only call it the principle of synchronicity that enables us to draw the cards that explain that person's situation.
And how long does it normally take if somebody wants to have their cards?
You can do a very quick reading where you would think of a question and draw a card.
So we can do that now?
We can do that now.
Except if I just saw that said death. Not tonight.
I'll put it somewhere else in the pack for you. One can just choose a card. Just think of a small question. All right. And turn the card around. Oh, we have the Knight of Pentacles.
Which means what?
Which is a card that suggests there's some kind of change or improvement going to be happening. Pentacles rule money and business. So you would possibly find some good news or new opportunities regarding business coming your way.
Well, that would be 100% accurate.
Oh, good.
Barbara, now I believe you're going to be with us next Friday as well.
Yes, most certainly.
Give us an insight what you want to talk about next Friday.
What we're going to talk about next Friday? Well, I was looking at the aspects that are going to be operating the week after next, and I'm going to speak about finding clarity within the self and your situation, because a lot of the times things happen to us and we have no idea why or what is really happening. So I'll give a few tips on how we can use that the astrological information to help people find some clarity.
Barbara, always a pleasure having you with us. I look forward to next Friday. Your details, I think we've got them. They were on the screen a sec ago. But we also have our email address where people can contact you if they missed that, and people can ask you questions. Because I know every time you're on this program, we get flooded with people wanting to know things.
Well, I love answering the questions. I've got plenty of answers.
Always great to speak to you. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Glenn.
And if you do have questions for Barbara, her details were on the screen. In fact, they're on the screen at the moment. But you can also email us at world@sabc.co.za. She said she likes to answer your questions and interact with you.